This is Colin Dixon with nScreen Media, and I'm speaking with Lauren Devillier, who is CEO of Struum, and Paul Pastor, who is Chief Business Officer. Now, Struum is a brand new service. People probably haven't heard about this. So, Lauren, why don't you give us a quick intro to Struum?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Colin. Yeah, so Struum is an aggregated subscription video on demand service with aspirational tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 providers of SVOD services for a consumer to search, discover, and explore using a credit-based model. It is a monthly subscription. They get a set amount of credits, and then they can use those credits to actually watch the content that they want to watch amongst many different services within the Struum service.
So this is really trying to solve the discovery issue for these smaller services, right, Paul?
That's right. We know that habits and rituals are extremely important as it relates to television. The old habits of traditional television, right, where like HBO would premiere something at 10 o'clock on Sunday night, or NBCU had their Thursday night block. Today's habits are different. They start with, searching maybe Netflix, because so many of the U.S. subscribers have that service, and Amazon, and then maybe Disney Plus if they're kids and family, or they go to HBO Max if they are an urban sophisticate. And then they're dumped in this wide ocean of 300 other services that Parks and Associates was tracking at the end of this year. And there's so many different friction points in there. But most importantly, they're not winning the habit. And our goal, our goal here is to help consumers by aggregating all this content, giving them a very important discovery tool, right, for both services and content, and also managing subscriptions alongside that for those where we can actually see that there's value in that subscription for that subscriber. Managing all of that in one ecosystem can help us win the habit for those partners that we have, and over time become that third or fourth choice for consumers, and fundamentally build a bigger ecosystem for those that are the smaller players today in the partnership.
So you, to do this, to actually act as a good recommendation point, you have to have a lot of data about what people are watching, right? So you aren't doing this where you're handing off the video stream to the provider. You actually have the content in the service, right?
That's absolutely right. Our intention is that all of the content lives within the platform, so we can track the data across all of these different providers and really be able to own that relationship and be able to service the consumer with that frictionless experience and be able to recommend content to them without having them have to leave the service and go to another provider.
And that just seems like a great opportunity for the smaller providers, right? Because, consumers very often, you can see from their habits that they might like a piece of content from a service that they can't possibly have heard of, right?
Right.
But you know that, so if that provider is working with them, you can easily recommend them to recommend that piece of content so they can find it. So you must be working very closely with the providers to make sure that their brand is still visible, so that they can develop their brand image with that customer, right?
We're working very closely with the content partners in terms of the brand. I mean, both Paul and I and the other founders come from very large companies that have very established and beloved brands. And so the value of the brand is very important to us. And so we are absolutely addressing that within the product of how consumers can not only find the content, but understand the brand that sits behind that content.
Paul?
Yeah, I echo the same comments from Lauren, which is to say that we think that brands are unbelievably important navigational tools, and in the aggregation, we hope to help elevate some of their brands within the environment. And so that's critically important. You also touched on something, Colin, that I think is critically important, is outside of distinguishing the loading of our content into the ecosystem and watching all that data and building the recommendation engines. Part of our story, right, when we were initially looking to launch, was actually taking on that effort. And that was a big lift, and it's an expensive investment to make. We also have to have a platform that can fundamentally build and scale in that direction. We're talking about the fact that we're working with potentially hundreds of partners, and which leads to hundreds of thousands of assets, right? And then if you think about that from a global basis, that even grows exponentially. And that's why we also chose a partner like First Light, who is also an investor in Struum. They've been an unbelievably great partner, both in accelerating our path by delivering us a product in weeks that has that scalability, but also is continuing to kind of expand that in terms of feature sets and helping us build the tools that fundamentally deliver a great consumer experience.
Yeah, this incremental model just seems like such a no-brainer. It's amazing to me that more providers haven't tried this in the past. So I'm really pleased to see it. So talk to us about release. When are we going to see Struum? When can I sign up for it?
You can sign up in spring of 2021 is when the platform is being released to the market.
But we also encourage you to go to Struum.com. We'll take your data now and hopefully you'll be part of the initial beta as we go out with consumers. We think we have something pretty awesome. The design work that our team has been doing is innovative, and we just can't wait to kind of showcase it to you and your audiences, Colin.
Very good. And I can't wait to show them it. So I hope when it's actually launched, you come back and talk to us again.
I would be happy to. We'd love to.
Paul, thank you both for speaking with me, and we'll talk to you again really soon.
Colin, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Colin.
This has been Colin Dixon with nScreenNoise.